Hey Prateek sir,
Hello, Jatin sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. You have already started the broadcast, so all attendees are in place.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so just share your
okay,
screens. I make you the presentator.
okay. Just a second. So it's a show button, right? Uh,
Yeah, that's the one. That's perfect. So I can able to share your complete screen. That's wonderful. Your voice is
Okay.
crisp and clear.
Okay.
I think
Good.
start after 6 minutes, so we can wait for another 6 minutes. Let's get it
Sure.
started once people start coming in.
Sure. Okay. I'll just go on mute meantime. Okay.
Maybe. Okay, thank you. Okay, sir.
All right. So welcome everyone. Good afternoon, and thanks for taking time out to hear this webinar. Okay. So I guess we have almost a good number of people who have joined already. So without wasting time, we'll just get started. Okay. Uh, so I guess there might be audience where some of them might know about Salesforce already. Some of them do not know about Salesforce anything. They have just heard from their friends or some of the colleagues that Salesforce is a booming technology or it's a cloud application. So I'll start assuming that most of us do not know about Salesforce, so that it will be helpful for those who knows already as well as those who doesn't know anything about it. Okay. Now, to talk about Salesforce, so a lot of people you might have heard that Salesforce is a CRM application or it's a cloud-based CRM, right? So it's a partially true statement, but Salesforce is not just a CRM. Salesforce, they are branding themselves as an industry cloud. Okay, what does that mean actually when we say Salesforce is an industry cloud? So Salesforce being a CRM is very limited because CRM, as all of you know, it's a customer relationship management. Okay, what comprise of that is basically marketing, sales cycle, and service life cycle. Okay, but apart from that, now if you look at the Salesforce website and the portfolio of the products that Salesforce offers, it's much more than that. Okay, so Salesforce offers you sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, commerce cloud, health cloud, manufacturing cloud, retail cloud. It has non-profit success pack and things like that. And in all of these they have offerings for B2B as well as B2C. Okay, so now I'll quickly walk you through the curriculum that we cover during this the course, and then I will talk about the course guideline, and then I'll open the floor for the question answers. Meantime, whatever questions you have, you can type your questions in the chat window. Okay, so I can see those and I can answer those questions. Okay. Before starting, because a lot of people have this question, what is the qualification of our trainer? And that's the basic question that everybody has. So let me introduce myself. My name is Pratik. Okay, and I carry 10 years of Salesforce experience. Okay, I'm currently working as a Salesforce architect with one of the MNC company. Have worked in the past as a business analyst, a developer, admin, a solution architect, and now I'm working as an architect. So I have a rich experience of working on all the different products that Salesforce offers, and even I have experience of giving presentation in the Dreamforce. So Dreamforce is Salesforce, or it's a world's biggest technology conference that happens in San Francisco, and I was honored to have be there 3 times as a presenter on different topics about Salesforce. Okay, so that's in nutshell about me. Now I'll just concentrate on what exactly we cover in Salesforce. And meantime, I will just also talk a little bit about each and every topic. So, those who have information already about Salesforce, but they want to have a deep dive, they will also get some flavor about it. And those who, totally from different background, they will also get a flavor of what Salesforce offers and what we are going to cover at Ethans. Okay. So now this is the detailed syllabus because we don't believe in just giving you a high level plan, because that's not something we believe at Ethans. At Ethans we believe that you should have a comprehensive view on the first day itself, that what you are going to get out of your training. So let's say your training goes on for 2 months, and what should be the output after 2 months. So that is what we try to showcase on the first day itself, so students or the participant should be crystal clear in making their decision. Okay, now when we say Salesforce is a cloud application, so we first we learn about what is exactly cloud application, because the thing is that to learn the Salesforce you don't have to be an IT engineer or to belong to a software background. Even if you are in the analysis sector or from financial sector, or you are from a mechanical background or electronic background, you can still learn Salesforce, because there's nothing called as a prerequisite that Salesforce requires. Okay, so that is the big advantage when we learn Salesforce. So there is no prerequisite as such, but having some knowledge of OOPS concept like object oriented programming and things like that would definitely help you. But even if you don't know that, don't worry about it, we will cover during our session those things as well. Okay, because lot of because I'll tell you, I'll just give you a deviation from this topic. Why I'm talking about this is a lot of people who are work in a sales background, they are using Salesforce as a Salesforce tool as an end user to enter the data, and over the period of time they want to move into the technology part of Salesforce. And that's where we talk about each and every concept. So when we say there's no prerequisite as such to learn Salesforce, that's where we cover each and every topic. So even if you belong to a technical background or not, you don't have to worry, because we'll cover everything for you. Okay. Now, in the module 1, we learn about the cloud application and what is CRM. So basically, when we say CRM or Salesforce is a cloud application, what does cloud application means? What is SaaS, PaaS, DaaS, and IaaS? Okay, so we learn about each and everything, each and because every cloud application needs to have those 4 attributes to qualify as a pure cloud application. Then we also talk about what is CRM, what is the customer relationship management, what it takes to acquire a customer, to sell a product to a customer, and to retain that customer and make it a loyal customer in such a way that he will you can cross sell or upsell to the product, and also he becomes your brand ambassador to publish, do mouth publishing for your product. So how you can retain your customers, all those things comes under CRM. So we look at the entire sales life cycle, marketing life cycle, service life cycle. Okay, then we touch base upon what Salesforce is. Basically what the Salesforce, I mean, Salesforce, there are two types of people get confused already. What is salesforce.com and what is Salesforce? So Salesforce is a very generic terminology. So you might have heard, I mean, those who belongs to marketing, business development, or sales background, you might have heard of Salesforce automation terminology. All right, so Salesforce automation is basically automating your sales life cycle, service life cycle, or marketing life cycle. And when we say salesforce.com, it's a company name. Okay, and the product name also Salesforce. So SFDC or Salesforce or salesforce.com is all belonging to a Salesforce company. Okay, now Salesforce edition and licenses. So Salesforce, as I talked about initially, that Salesforce has variety of products, starting from marketing till e-commerce, from sales to service, from health cloud to retail, manufacturing cloud. So we talk about what are the Salesforce edition, okay, and what are the different types of licenses that Salesforce offers. Then we talk about the core of Salesforce architecture, because if you are if you want to start your career in Salesforce, you should know what is the kind of architecture that Salesforce has built. Because I'm not sure you know uh, if you guys know about in 5-6 years back, Oracle came up with R12 update, and to update Oracle on R12, companies has to shed a lot of money and create a lot of big projects to just to upgrade Oracle from one version to other. On the other hand, Salesforce upgrades themselves thrice in a year. So Salesforce has 3 releases which come up with hundreds of new features, and Salesforce does it seamlessly. We don't have to do anything. You will be always on the latest and greatest edition of the Salesforce. So how that happen? What is the architecture behind it? What kind of database Salesforce uses? What kind of user structure is in place? So all the backend architecture is what we give you overview about. Then we talk about the multi-tenant architecture, which is the core of Salesforce. Okay, then what happens is, because we believe not just talking about the theoretical part, but we believe in hands-on challenges as well. So during this course you will also do each and everything hands-on as well. So we provide you the Salesforce account which will be with you lifetime. It's a developer account that Salesforce provides for free, so you can try out your hands, and it's not 30 days trial, it's a lifetime account that we provide. So it can stay with you and you can try out whatever you learn from the classes. Okay, so then we talk about each and individual topic about Salesforce. So we look at the company default setup. What are the different default setup? What are the financial calendar you can set up? What are the different languages, time zone? If you are an MNC company, some of team sits in US, some of team is operating from Japan, some of the sales guys are operating from India. How you can set up multi-currency? How you can do time zone management and things like that? We look at everything, and we do it practically, and we ask our participant to also do it parallelly, so they have a hands-on, and if there are any questions they can ask it then and there itself. So there's no doubt, after learning things. Okay. Then we talk about different Salesforce products. Like I mentioned, Salesforce has Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Communities Cloud, Marketing Cloud, NPSP, Commerce Cloud. So you have a good idea about now that Salesforce is not just a CRM, but it's an industry cloud. So we give you a background about different Salesforce product also. Then we start digging deep into Salesforce, creating application, creating objects, understanding of the standard object, because Salesforce is a standard product plus platform, because Salesforce is powered by force.com platform. So it also is an application. So there are standard objects, standard processes available out of the box. And you have a flexibility to create custom business processes, to create custom objects, custom fields, to modify the standard object to have your customization inside it. So all those things we look at, in the application. We create objects, we create different types of field and things like that. Okay. Now, when we say we create applications, so Salesforce have Salesforce standard application like sales, service, marketing, content, and things like that. We can also create a custom application. So we look at both the things. Then we also look at the app exchange apps. App exchange is things like that. Like we have App Store on Apple, we have Google Play Store on your Android device. Similarly, Salesforce has App Exchange, where you can install or download or purchase the apps which can enhance your current CRM application or current industry cloud application. So we look at those aspects also. Okay. Then we create tabs, different objects. We create like standard. We look at the standard object. What are the capability of standard object? When those capabilities are not enough, and we should create custom objects. What are the external objects? If you have a legacy system or third-party system, how you can utilize external objects. Then we look at the different data types that Salesforce offers. We look at the standard fields because they also carry a lot of significance in terms of standard objects. And we also look at the custom fields. Then there are a lot of field dependency, formulas, validation rule. Those also we see, okay, in the VL cover. And the thing is that whatever I'm talking about, we actually learn through an example. We take an example. We also ask our student to implement that, so they have pretty good hands-on in the system. And if there are any doubts, those can be solved then and there itself. Then we look at the object relationship. Salesforce has one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship, and things like that. So we look at all those things. We look at the roll-up formulas, record types, page layouts. I'm not going to talk about because these are technical terms. So I'm not giving you a deep dive. I'm just covering those so that you have a good idea about it. Okay. Then we look at the user management, because Salesforce is a subscription model. So you can purchase as much as licenses you want for now. And if there are any upgrades, you can always purchase additional licenses from Salesforce. So we look at the user management, how to set up the users, how to assign roles and profiles, how to set up user specific language, locale, the approval setup of the user, manager of the user, things like that we look at in the user management. Then a very important topic in the Salesforce is the security model of the Salesforce. So we look at the profiles, permission set, org-wide defaults, role hierarchy, sharing rules, manual sharing, login policies, login hours, and Salesforce provides from the application level till the field level who can see what, who can do what, kind of thing. So we look at all those aspects because this is very important when you look at the enterprise setup for any Salesforce system. Then we also look at the important part of Salesforce, that is process automation and workflow processes. So we see the field update, email alerts, task assignment, how to send outbound messages, time-bound actions, and things like that. So just to give an example, let's say a sales reps create an opportunity and it crosses the certain threshold amount, and you want to alert your sales VP that it's a big deal amount. You want to assign a task to your sales reps to set up a follow-up meeting with your VP. You want to update some fields that it's a big deal. You want to showcase some message and things like that. So all those automations you can do in Salesforce. On top of that, we also look at the approval processes, like a standard example, when we apply for a leave in our organization, it goes for your manager's approval. If it is more than certain days, then it should go for your manager plus HR's approval. So those kind of approval processes you can set up in Salesforce, and those can be standard approval processes. It can be dynamic approval processes based on the criteria, and it can be multi-level approval. So a lot of approvers can be involved in the system, so it can be multi-level approval. So we look at all those processes. Then on the advanced process automation side, we cover the process builder, automating the processes, how to post to the chatter, run a process, run a Apex classes and things like that. We cover all that pretty umbrella under the process builder. Then we go to app builder. What is the Lightning app builder? What is the Lightning standard component? What are the Lightning custom components? How you can assign the home, create the custom home pages or custom record pages. How you can, show the components on the same page dynamically to different set of users. So let's say I have an account page. There are 5 components on my account page. Whenever my sales, whenever my account status or type is, let's say industry type is manufacturing, I want to show certain components. Whenever the account type is or industry is IT, I want to show certain components. So that kind of dynamic handling of the same page, I mean, the page is going to be same for everyone, but you can showcase the components dynamically based on the criteria. And that is the very good feature of Salesforce Lightning. So that also we cover in this syllabus. Okay. Then we talk about the duplicate rules, because data governance is the you know uh, foremost important question whenever it comes to a bigger enterprises, because they have tons of data in their system, and we don't want to have dirty data or inconsistent data into the Salesforce. So how you can take a corrective measures or preventive measures. So we look at the both the measures through duplicate rules, merging of the records and things like that. Then we talk about assignment rules. If you want to assign leads or cases, dynamically based on some criteria, how you can do that in Salesforce. How you can send the auto responses. So just an example. So let's say whenever we write to, let's say Amazon customer support. So if I get an issue and if I raise a case with Amazon, I get an immediate response saying that your case has been logged. This is the case reference number for further communication, and we'll get back to you within 1 business hour and things like that. How you can send those auto responses. We cover those part in the Salesforce as well. Okay. Then we also look at the things like web to case, web to lead. So how you can automate, from inquiries to lead capture, or from support cases on the website to directly into the Salesforce. So we look at those portion as well. Okay. Then we cover email templates. There are multiple types of email templates with your company letterhead, without your company letterhead. You can create text email templates, HTML email templates. We look at all those things. Then we look at the public groups, queues, auto capturing of the leads from website, like I mentioned just a minute back. Then how you can write email to case. So let's say you write support@ethans.com for your query. It should create case automatically inside Salesforce. How you can do that setup? Or if you post an inquiry on Ethan site, how you can create lead into the Ethan Salesforce instance. So things like that we will cover during our syllabus. Okay. Then a lot of you might have a question, what is Salesforce Lightning? Because there's a lot of buzz from last 2 years about Salesforce Lightning. So Salesforce Lightning is basically, Salesforce, there was no issues with the Salesforce interface as such. But the thing is that as we are seeing from 2012, I mean, the world is moving on the mobile apps, right? And Salesforce has, uh, the core product when Salesforce launched its first CRM in 2004, the platform or the backend was on the Apex and Visual Force. But the thing was that when Salesforce tried to move on the mobile application, those were not supportive 100% on the mobile platform. Okay, so Salesforce has to, basically encompass a new approach, and that's where Salesforce acquired a Belgium-based company, and that's where Lightning came into the picture. Now, if you look at Salesforce Lightning, has a pretty good UI, and it is 100% compatible with your mobile devices. Okay, so that's what the Salesforce Lightning is. So we showcase you basically during our course. You will learn Salesforce Classic, Salesforce Lightning, because as a Salesforce developer, admin, or consultant or analyst, you should know both the things, right? Because some of the organization, they are still on the Classic, and if you have to move them to a Lightning, you should know what lies in Classic, how should I move to it to Lightning, and what are the different facilities I get in Lightning. So we teach you about both Classic as well as Lightning. Okay. Then a very important topic, which is pretty close to executive people, is about analytics. Okay, and analytics is the crux of any system. So we talk about reports, dashboards. In the Salesforce reports, you will find tabular reports, summary reports, metrics reports, joint reports. There are multiple dashboards components that are available. There are different types of charts like pie chart, horizontal bar chart, vertical bar chart, you know, and there are multiple different components. So we look at each and everything. We also create reports, so you have pretty good hands on the reports and analytics, because this is very important part, and this is required by most of your executive people, so you should be really good at it. Okay. Then in the dashboard, we look at the running user dashboard, dynamic dashboard. There are multiple different types of dashboard in Salesforce, you know, based on the specific user or based on the logged in user. So we'll look at both this concept because these are also pretty important. Okay. Then if I have to schedule a report, so let's say I am a sales rep and I sales account manager, and I have to send my, you know, uh, whatever the accounts or the opportunities I have closed, I have to send the report to my manager every Monday at 9 a.m. in the morning. Okay. So if I don't have any automation in the place, I'll have to put a reminder for myself that every Monday, 8:30 p.m., 8:30 a.m., I should start my work. I should create a report. I should download the records and I should prepare it. And 9 a.m. it should be sent to my manager. But in Salesforce, you have a facility to schedule a report. Okay. So we look at all those aspects, how you can schedule a report, how you can schedule a dashboard so that, you know, it will automatically go via email to your respective audience that you have to send it to. Okay. Then this was all about Salesforce configuration and point and click capabilities. Now, when we say Salesforce is powered by Force.com platform, and you can extend your standard functionality, because Salesforce is just not a product, it's a platform also. So that way there are a lot of customization that are available. So we look at the, what are the different triggers that are available, before triggers, after triggers. There are multiple events on which you can write triggers. So we look at the triggers, then Apex, Visual Force. Visual Force is not not used quite a bit, because now everything is about lightning components. So we look at the what is the lightning components. We talk about the what is the SOQL and social queries. SOQL is basically like Oracle. We have SQL queries. Salesforce has Salesforce Object Query Language, that is called as a SOQL. What are the governor limits? Because when we say Salesforce is a multi-tenant architecture, it has to have some governor limits. Otherwise, you will end up into the deadlock situation. If somebody accesses all the resources, others will get starved for the resources. So what are those governor limits? How you can write your best code within the governor limits. Then we talk about what are the kind of deployments and sandboxes that are available in Salesforce. So if I develop my code in developer box, how I can move it to, or how I can deploy it to production instance. So we talk about deployment mechanism, change sets, what are the inbound change sets, outbound change sets. We look at all those things. Okay. Then the important task is also ETL, like extract, transfer, and load operations. So about the data, right? So a lot of times you'll your marketing team might come up with the Excel sheet, and they have a lot of leads and they want it to insert into Salesforce. So how you can insert the records, how you can update the existing records in a bulk, how you can delete records and things like that. So all the data loader or data extraction or transformation kind of activities we look at in the Salesforce, and we look at the applications like data loader and the workbench. Okay. So this is all about the syllabus of the Salesforce, and what are the key highlights that differentiate Ethans from other technology experts is like we provide you the developer account, as I mentioned. So whatever scenario we whatever topics we'll cover, we will also practice the scenarios and things is like that. I myself, working as a Salesforce architect, so I don't talk about the hypothetical scenarios. I talk about the scenarios which I have faced during my projects. So it helps you. Whatever topics I will teach you, I'll talk about its real-time application rather than talking about the hypothetical application, so that you get a good flavor, how it is used in industry, how these, if I'm learning validation rule, how those are applicable in real-time systems, how enterprises uses the process automation and things like that. Okay. Then we also provide you hands-on practice. As I mentioned, each and every topic that we do, we reserve some time for lab session also. Okay, so you can try your hands, you can ask us the question or doubts and things like that. Okay. Then we provide so a lot of people they have this is the one of the question which we get asked a lot of times from a lot of participants, that sir, I have I have a total experience of 3 to 5 years, or some people They join us like 10 to 15 years of experience and things like that. How, so let's take an example. If a person is working on Java or .NET from last 2 to 3 years, and he wants to jump into Salesforce, so right, and if they face any interview and they want to talk about, you're not just going to tell that I have taken a formal course or I have appeared for certification, but you also have to tell something about your experience. So we provide you guidance on that as well. We also provide you guidance on the Salesforce certifications, be it be ADM 201 admin or developer exam or app builder exam. Okay. We also provide you guidance on the interviews, because a lot of people, they know Salesforce something a little bit about it. They're trying their luck on the interviews, but they get stuck. So we provide you guidance on the interview process as well. We also provide you guidance on the interview questions. Okay. So those are the different things that we cover during our sessions. Okay. Now, I would like to, take up your questions. So if you have any questions, so there are few questions already in my chat window. If anybody has questions, they can type the questions in the chat window, so I can answer. So one of the question which I have, that sir, I'm from mechanical background, can I join the Salesforce class? So as I mentioned in the initial topic in the Salesforce, that you don't have to have any prerequisite to learn Salesforce, because Salesforce, there's a lot of things that doesn't require coding at all. If you have to do a career as a Salesforce admin, then you don't need to really have to have a coding background. So even if you belong to mechanical background, electronic background, that should not be any problem to learn Salesforce. And once you start spending time in Salesforce, you'll automatically get to know, how to if you really have to move to a development part, you can move to that part as well. Okay. Then there's one more question. Salesforce is a cloud-based application, so how we handle the security? Okay. So Salesforce, if you go to trust.salesforce.com, so Salesforce has a lot of different compliances that Salesforce complies to, like ISO 27001, HIPAA, GDPR, and things like that. So there are tons of certification that Salesforce has. So there is no issue on the security side. And there's not a single instance that Salesforce system has ever been hacked, or it was not available. There was one instance in 2014 where Salesforce in the Europe, that EU instance of Salesforce was not available for a day, but that is one of the instance that has happened. Apart from that, because if you look at the customer portfolio of Salesforce, Salesforce has customer from all the industries, even the bank, wealth management, insurance companies, they are also Salesforce customers. So they are the most sensitive data that they can have. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Any more questions, guys? You can write in your chat window if you have any question. Okay. Now I have one more question. I am a banker, and how it will help me in banking? Okay. So that's a wonderful question. Salesforce also has so Arvind Saraswat. Okay. So I'll also read out the name so I can answer it to it. So, Mr. Arvind, so Salesforce also provides financial cloud. Okay, so there are financial typically for this is for investment, banking, wealth management, and insurance companies. But the thing is that the beauty of Salesforce, as I'm talking about, so you might have heard about marketing cloud, sales cloud, service cloud, financial cloud, health cloud. The beauty of Salesforce is it is all built on Force.com platform. Okay, so today, so let's say when I started my career in 2011, Salesforce had only sales cloud, service cloud. Okay, and now if I look back after almost 9-10 years, Salesforce has like 15 plus products. Okay, I don't need to be expert in each and every product. If I know Force.com platform pretty well, which we cover 100% in our sessions or in our syllabus, I will be comfortable in dealing with any Salesforce products, because those all products are built on top of Salesforce platform or the Force.com platform. Okay, so even if you are a banker, there are financial services cloud. Even banks use it for tracking their sales life cycle and things like that. So Salesforce has a typical product for banking sector or investment sector or wealth management sector. Okay. So now I have another question. Which Salesforce? One second. Just Nilay Sina, I just see your hello. I don't see the complete question. So if you want to type, you can type it again. Then there's one more question from Priyanka. Which Salesforce certification is recommended for testing? So if you have to go in a testing, I would suggest you go for Salesforce administration because this is the first level certification, or you can go for Salesforce app builder certification as well. Okay. And you will definitely learn about Salesforce during the syllabus, and in the last session we also talk about your certification, how to prepare for certification, the dumps question for certification, so you have you get a practice and hands-on on those questions. So you can go for any one of those certification because there's no specific certification on the testing. Okay, to test the Salesforce, you should know the Salesforce pretty well from all the background, which you will definitely learn during the course, and any one of the certification that you can take, so that there are credentials for you in the market. Then a question from how can we get hands-on practice as a Salesforce admin or developer? Yes. So the thing is that whatever topics I just read out for you and I discussed in last 15-20 minutes, we practice each and every topic hands-on in the developer account during our sessions. Okay, so you get a pretty good hands-on practice during the session itself. Then if you want to try, I also give you useful links to try out offline. So if there are a lot of participants who have time and they want to try more scenarios, or they want to get a lot of hands-on, so I will provide you those scenarios also, so you can try those out. If you have any questions, you can always ask during this sessions. Okay, so that way you can try. Okay, how much time we are going to spend on coding part? Syllabus looks more towards admin side and very less towards development. Okay, so this depends upon the crowd that we get. Okay, not a lot of people are because Salesforce doesn't have any prerequisite of the background that you should belong to a coding background or you should belong to programming background. We cover force.com platform 100%. Then we also talk about the coding, but if you really look at the Salesforce, 80% of work happens through configurational aspects. So you don't have to code for each and everything. Okay, so we complete so basically, to learn about any product, you should know about the force.com platform, and that is our aim, that we cover force.com platform 100%, all the configurational aspects, security aspect, user management, or whatever syllabus you have seen, we cover that 100%. We also talk about the coding. Definitely we don't go into the syntactical level of the coding, that how you, because if you don't know, Salesforce Apex is similar to Java language. Salesforce Lightning components are written in JavaScript. So if you don't know JavaScript or Java, starting with development won't useful for you. And if you know Java and JavaScript already, I don't have to go very deep at a syntactical level. So we talk about how we write trigger, how we write Apex classes, how we call the classes from another classes, then how we write Lightning components, what are the SQL queries. That is the thing we cover in the Salesforce. Okay. Then the another question is from Amit. I have 5 years of experience in .NET, but suppose I have to shift to Salesforce. Companies are demanding for 1-2 years experience in SIM. So can I switch the technology? So Amit, that's where we provide you the project guidance. So we know that based on our course, you can definitely during your interviews you can show you 1.5 years or 2 years of experience if you are really good at it. Okay, with provided that you have done the practice and you have learned the topics in deep and provided pretty good attention during the class. So you can tell that, then that's where we provide you guidance on the projects. If at all you have been asked during interviews what kind of work you have done, you should be in a position to answer those questions. Okay. Then there's a question from Arpan. I have 12 years of experience on PeopleSoft developer. Can I move to Salesforce now? That will be a really good decision because Salesforce is the future. If you really look at the CRM, arena, Salesforce has a 41% of share across its competition, and it's a number one CRM, as all of you know, and it's the number one innovative company from last 9 years. So this is a good time to move, and there's no harm, even if you show your PeopleSoft developer experience and you can move into Salesforce. So it should be totally fine, and it would be a good decision to move to Salesforce because that's the future. Okay. How to face interview for experienced professional, we do provide the guidance on that as well. So this will be very specific, the background that you carry, which background you had, your experience. So accordingly we can guide you. Okay, so it's a very experience specific, but we see, the thing is that once we cover the portion and we also spend time on the talking about the certification, then we talk about the project guidance and how to crack the interviews. So during that session, you can we can talk about a specific background that people belong to, and we can orient them accordingly. Okay. What is the demand for this technology? It is again from Amit. So it's a booming technology, that I would say. The way SAP was during 2000 and 2002, the same way Salesforce is right now. But Salesforce is the most innovative company, and Salesforce is very smart because it has not restricted themselves typically to a CRM. As I mentioned, Salesforce has Finance Cloud, Health Cloud, non-profit packs. It has Commerce Cloud, that to B2C as well as B2B. Now, if you guys might have read, Salesforce acquired Tableau, that is the #1 analytical platform. Salesforce acquired MuleSoft, which was the #1 integration platform. So likewise, Salesforce is just growing its product portfolio. So there will be a huge demand, and you can read out articles already. Those are, even if you Google the things, there is a huge demand for Salesforce people in the market. Okay. Then there's a question about how will I get opportunities with 12 years of experience in other ERP, from Urban. So 12 years of experience in ERP brings a pretty good domain knowledge in you, Urban, right? So if you have a technological background, you can work as an analyst, or you can work as a consultant, or you can even work as a solution architect in Salesforce, because to know that you already have a good knowledge about the domain because you have worked in ERP. So if you have a Salesforce technological knowledge, and then you know how I should implement my business processes using Salesforce, right? That is what solution architect or business analyst or consultant do. So that way you can look at the Salesforce thing. Okay. Nilay, I have already answered this question, how I can get hands-on practice as a Salesforce admin developer, because we cover each and everything topics that we discussed during our session. We do hands-on practice on that. Okay. Then there's a question from Arvind. Hope all the tech platform setup is over cloud, not over local laptop or special configuration in laptop. There's no configuration or no installation of any software is required on your laptop. You just need a laptop and internet connection. It is as good as Gmail. You type in gmail.com, you type in your username, password. Similarly, you access the Salesforce. You get a unique username and a password. You just type login.salesforce.com, type in your username, password, and you are started. You don't have to install anything. So a lot of people has this question because they are using company laptops and they are not allowed to install any software or install any third party installable things on your machine. But you don't have to worry. It's all browser based. So you just need a good internet connection and a machine. That's it. Okay, then Niharika has a question. Should I know JavaScript for development in Salesforce? The answer is yes. Okay. If you would have asked this question 3 years back, the answer was no, because Salesforce has its own 4th generation language called Apex, and for UI it's Visual Force Page. But now the thing is that, as I mentioned, Salesforce adopted an approach of mobile first thing, and the UI should be compatible in mobile device as well as on the desktop or the machine or the browser. And for that, Salesforce has undertaken Aura framework for its development. So whatever you heard about Lightning components are Aura powered and things like that, those are developed in JavaScript, because all of you know JavaScript is basically a lightweight language to handle a lot of queries on the client side. And if you have to run your application on the mobile, a lot of data processing or a lot of logic processing should happen on the client side, rather than giving every call to server, then fetch data and show it back to client. It will take a lot of time, and it's not recommended on the mobile devices. So to create or to develop the Lightning components, you should have a knowledge of JavaScript. Okay. Then there's a question from Ghansham. I have 12 years of working experience in BPO, FMCG, manufacturing operations, and I would want to join SF admin. Do you think this is a good decision? And how will this decision help me emphasizing my career graph? Please help. So Ghansham, I would say, this is the right time you should move, because there's a huge demand for Salesforce admins, developers, or analysts. And rather than starting as a Salesforce admin, you can even start the Salesforce analyst role because you have pretty good domain knowledge, at least in FMCG manufacturing operation. And Salesforce has a lot of customers in those areas. So if you, I mean, if you are fortunate enough, you don't even have to start as a Salesforce admin, even if you can start as a Salesforce analyst. But yes, this course will definitely enable you to learn technological aspect and the business aspect of Salesforce, so that you can connect your domain knowledge with the technology. Then there's a question from Ravi. Do you also cover various aspects of SF integration with SAP API AWS? The answer is yes. We will definitely talk about it. How we can integrate Salesforce with ERP or other third-party systems. Okay, then there's a question from Archana. Hello, sir. I am from non-technical background. Since I am very curious and very much interested in Salesforce admin, is Salesforce admin is a good choice for my career? The answer is yes, and a strong yes, because that's where, if you're belonging to a non-technical background, you can start your career with Salesforce admin, because for admin, you don't have to have any, there's no prerequisite to have any programming knowledge or any coding language knowledge. Basically, Salesforce is pretty good in point and click and its configuration, and you can learn Salesforce admin. And once you start spending the time, then there's a full Salesforce arena open for you. Okay. Then again, one question from Archana. Again, one more thing, since I don't have experience, how difficulty to get job in Salesforce career? So Archana, you don't have to worry about, because there are a lot of jobs for Salesforce people nowadays in market. The thing is that a lot of job description you'll find for Salesforce developer, because in India we have a habit of covering all the job description under Salesforce developer. But there are a lot of companies who hire specifically Salesforce admin. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. Okay. So let me give you an example. So let's say I am a Salesforce customer. Okay, I have purchased 100 licenses from Salesforce. I'm, let's say, a retail company. I manage my sales and services through Salesforce. So for the first time implementation, I went to a Salesforce implementation partner, did my one-time implementation. But now to manage or to maintain that implementation, I definitely require an in-house team of developers as well as admins, because admins day-to-day job is taking care of user management, security management aspects, setting up of roles, profiles, adding data, setting up best practices, and things like that. So definitely admins are required in the market for those kind of companies. So I don't think there's a lot of problem in finding the jobs. Okay. So Ravi has a question. I have a 12 years of experience in SAP SD module. What course should I go for in SF? So Ravi, the thing is that for all the people, this course is very very much required, because we don't cover a specific model in this course. We train you on the force.com platform. We train you on the Salesforce as a product, what it can do for multiple industry or multiple verticals. So this is your gateway to Salesforce. And the thing is that whatever Salesforce out of the box functionality or customization, we cover everything, right? So you don't have to worry about those things. So whatever background you belong to, this is pretty prerequisite for you, this kind of course, to get started your career or to get started your hands in the Salesforce. Okay. Again, Priyanka, same answer for your question. How can a consultant MBA from supply chain domain find jobs in relevant? So there are jobs, for experienced people, you might have to look for, rather than starting as an admin or things like that. So there are two types of job you can find. Rather than applying to altogether new company where there are big Salesforce practice, or the companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, they have IJP programs also. Because a lot of my students in my previous batches, they have switched their careers to Salesforce via IJP program also. Okay, because in their interviews, a lot of their managers, they ask, if you have a good or sound knowledge in Salesforce and you can crack the interviews, we will allow you to IJP, because that's the simplest way to get inside Salesforce. Okay, so that is one of the option. And also a lot of people have got jobs all together in new companies also. So there's no way, because there is a good market for Salesforce, and Salesforce is growing like anything. In India, even in India, they have a lot of customers now, like Pidilite, you might have seen KFC, Redbus. There are multiple customers that Salesforce has in India also. Okay, So that way, there's no problem in finding the jobs. Definitely, I mean, you will have to crack the interviews and things like that. But we make sure that we tell you, we orient you about all the different components that Salesforce has, so that you can crack your interviews quite easy. Then there's a question from Arvind: Can Salesforce products be integrated with other application APIs? Yes, Salesforce has 100% API approach, so Salesforce can be integrated with any other system, any wherever there's a API compatibility is available. Okay, so there's no problem. So those are the pretty much questions, I guess. I don't see any other questions as of now. So I'll just keep it open for 2 more minutes. So if anybody has to ask any questions, they can ask. And one more important thing. So I didn't talk about the timelines of the course. Okay, there's a question from on the same context. Okay, from Arvind: Hope these classes are online. Yes, sir. Because of the COVID-19 breakout, we have suspended all our classrooms because it's not allowed via government rules as well. So this is all gonna be online. Okay. And now I'll talk about the schedule. So we require, we always tell that we require 7 to 8 weekends, and every weekend, the sessions will be between 2 to 3 hours based on the topics that we cover, because a lot of topics will have hands-on kind of challenges or hands-on experience, where you might try your hands in Salesforce to build those things, so you might require some more time, and a lot of people will ask doubts, so that will also take time. So each and every weekend we will have 2 to 3 hours of session. I would suggest that you keep yourself available for 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and we will require between 7 to 8 weekends. That I would say. I'll always say 1 weekend extra, because if for any emergency or any reason, if we have to cancel one of the class, we have a good expectation of 8 weekends. But 7 to 8 weekends will be required, and on Saturday Sunday we will require minimum 2 to 3 hours. But I will suggest that you keep yourself available for 3 hours. So even if we extend, there should be no problem. The timings, we will ask you about the preferences about the timings, but it will be mostly between 2 to 5 or between 5 to 8. Okay, so Arvind has a question: since banks have alternate Saturday holidays, so Arvind, then in that case, evening time we can make sure that we take evening time between like 5 to 8 kind of thing, so that everybody can assign. This course contains Salesforce developer course also. So it's basically, I will talk about, we enable you, because see, the thing is that we are not just talking about the Salesforce development. We're talking about the Salesforce product. So we are going to, learn about Salesforce 100% configuration, point and click, process automation, security management, Salesforce as a product. And we are also going to look at the Salesforce development. But as I have mentioned, we are not going to deep dive into syntactical level, because the problem is Salesforce, if you don't know Java and if you don't know JavaScript, it's of no use, right? If you have to really get into developer role. Okay. So that's where we don't go into syntactical level. However, we cover like Apex classes, Visual Force, triggers, then Lightning components, SOQL queries, and things like that. Okay, so I just talked about the timelines also. So 7 to 8 weekends, and every weekend you will have to spend between 2 to 3 hours on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, Saili has a question, sir. Hi, sir. I'm a fresher. So, what are the possibilities of the job opportunities? So, Saili, I'll talk about Pune. I'm not sure about the other places, but in Pune, there are a lot of startups who are hiring fresh people out of college, because a lot of college institute in the last year they have started giving training on the Salesforce. Even as an alumni in one of my in my college where I finished my engineering, I also give them lectures about Salesforce for the last year engineering people, so they can do their projects. And a lot of companies hire freshers because freshers comes at a very low price. And if you look at the Salesforce resources, they are very costly in the market. So a lot of companies prefer freshers over the experienced ones. So there are definitely, and in our last I'll talk about 5 to 6 batches. We have almost had 20 to 30% our batches with freshers, fresh out of college, and there are a lot of opportunities, at least in the startup companies. Okay. I'll if there are any questions, guys, you can type in. I'll still keep it open for another 2 minutes. So if there are any questions, I can answer those. So basically, I wanted to cover what Salesforce is. For those who don't know about Salesforce, you guys, and for all of you, I'll just do a request that after our this webinar, just go to salesforce.com, look at the Salesforce product portfolio. What are different products Salesforce has, whether it's just a CRM or it's an industry cloud. Because don't go on what I'm saying. You also verify on your side. There's a course content which Ethans can send you over the email also if you have provided your emails, so you have crystal clear clarity about what different topics we are going to cover. Okay, and timing wise also I have made it clear that we will require 7 to 8 weekends. 7 weekends is enough, but I always say 1 weekend extra, but if because if you have to cancel, so we have extra weekend, and 2 to 3 hours every weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I guess we are pretty good. If there are no questions, I'll still wait for a minute for to take up any questions, if there are anything from any one of you. Daily batches right now we don't have, but the thing is that if you guys, so Ethans will send you the course material. I mean this syllabus online. So if you can reply with the time preferences, and if we have good number of people available for daily batches, then we can conduct daily batches, which will be for an hour, which won't be for 2 to 3 hours in a stretch. The daily batches will be for hour and a half. But I mean, to be very honest, we prefer weekend batches where we can take 2 to 3 hours in one go, because the thing is that a lot of exercise will require time, so we can cover it in one go.
Sir,
Yes,
we
Arvind,
can.
I agree with you.
Hey,
Sorry.
sorry, Pratik. This
Yes,
is
Jatin,
Jatin
go
here.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a small thing. I'm just asking you whether it's feasible for you to conduct a batch, something like that. We can have a alternate classes like Monday and then Wednesday, then we can have it Friday and Sunday. So 4 days in a week, something like that is feasible for you.
Yeah, that would be feasible for me. Yeah, like 1.5
That
hours, each day, and 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, that
yeah,
would
that's
also work.
because this session will be completely online. So we prefer
Yeah.
that student cannot leave the touch only for Saturday and Sunday classes. So I personally means we personally prefer. In fact, we are almost running 24 batches at this moment, and everybody goes like this alternate days plan, which students are liking it very much because they don't lose a trust.
Correct. No, that's a good idea, Jatin. I agree with you. Yeah, and that would be possible for me. Just the request would be I can conduct those badges in the morning rather than in the evening, because then we
Yeah,
can have our
that's
balance between our office as well as classes.
wonderful. So let's. I think if the students do you guys have any other questions so that we can able to answer and wrap up this session? Okay, just a small thing that after this meeting, probably today or tomorrow, Ethan's staff will be get in touch with you. So if you are interested to proceed further with the registration, we are launching this batch coming week itself, and we are already having 4 registration. So preferring to close this batch by 10 or 12 students, not more than that. So if you are interested, you can just get back to the staff. Today, I can see approximately 34 students still joined it. So I prefer that not to have much students in a batch, online batches, just close it between 12 to 15 so that trainer can able to take your systems whenever required. And if you have any kind of a difficulties while doing some kind of an exercise or assignment on your system, at least Pratik sir can take a control on your system and try to resolve it. So that's why we prefer that we should have a limited number of students in each and every batch. In case if you have more students, we divide into different batches. But for now, the plan is we are going to start one batch from this coming week, and our team will get in touch with you in case if you require any kind of information. I am send you the email post this meeting. You can reply it back, so that I can send the details to the respective person over here. Does that make sense, everyone? Say yes, no. You have a question window right over there. Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah,
So
so we
I can.
see a lot of yes from the people. Yeah.
That's great. So if you don't have any questions, we can wrap up this session, and surely we come up with the important things in future. So keep in touch with us.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for your time and patience in attending and listening to whatever we about the Salesforce course and whatever your. I hope I have answered your queries. And if there's anything, as Jatin mentioned, that you can write us back, we can definitely try and answer your questions.
Okay, thank you
All
so
right.
much, sir,
Thanks,
for your time.
everyone. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Jatin, for organizing this webinar. It was a good time, and I hope we have answered a lot of their questions, and they have a good background as to what we're gonna in Salesforce class, what Salesforce stands for. Okay. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye bye.